Hey, what's up, T-Rex fans? Got some really good news. Got the T-Rex fixed really quickly from the catastrophic brake failure of last weekend. So that's really good news. I get to enjoy it on Memorial Day today. It's going to be in the mid 70s, pretty nice out, good weather for this thing. But as I mentioned in the other video, I did get this thing tuned right before the catastrophic brake failure. I got it tuned by Ivan. I'm extremely happy with the tuning. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, show you guys some videos of this thing pulling some speed. What I did was I just went online and I looked at ZX14 tuners. You know, this thing's got the ZX14 ECU, it's got the ZX14 engine and transmission. So I knew that if I found a reputable ZX14 tuner, I would most likely be able to get this thing tuned. So after just, doing my research and figuring out there's 2 or 3 really good tuners on this thing, I kind of chose Ivan. I called him. He's really good about answering the phone and talking to you. And he's a very interesting guy. He's very firm. You could tell he knows exactly what he's talking about, and he's been tuning these things for a long time, which is basically what I was looking for. Initially, he was pretty apprehensive about tuning this thing because, he knew that it was a lot heavier than a regular ZX14, and he was doing the bikes, not these things. But I told him I would be willing to take the risk of sending my ECU in and having him tune it. And even before that, he said, no, I'm not tuning it until you pull the ECU and read me the part number off of it. So anyways, I did that. As far as getting the ECU out of this thing, it's not super easy and it's not super hard. What you need to do is pull the 3 covers off the back, the carbon fiber covers, which come off with those little circular screws. It's kind of a process. The first step is just pulling the seats out, which is really quick and easy. Just cleaned mine from being pretty bugged up after going for a cruise last night, so they look a little damp. So you pull the seats out, pull the back covers out, and then the ECU is right behind the passenger headrest on what I guess you'd call a firewall, but it's in there. It's held in with like a rubber grommet type holder, just like a rubber holder. It's not screwed in. It's really tight though still. So anyways, if anybody's interested in pulling the ECU off these new ones, that's where the ECU is. So I sent it to him. He plugged it in, and to my surprise, he said these things have come tuned. And I'm not going to say who tuned them, but I was a little bit surprised by that because it felt like a stock tune to me. It felt restricted in some areas where you could kind of just feel that the power was restricted maybe in the first few gears, things like that, stuff that Kawasaki would do on the ZX14. But the biggest reason that I kind of chose him was because I was getting what he described on his website, the herky-jerky on-off throttle. And from what he was telling me is that actually the engine practically turns off when you let off the gas of the ZX14 tune. And his tuning totally corrects that. So if you guys are driving these things around and you let off the gas and then touch it again, it kind of jerks you a little bit. That's what he's talking about. And it was really it was noticeable for me. It didn't bother me that much until I put more and more miles on it. And then I thought maybe I had all those problems with my throttle cable. I was like, man, is that thing starting to stick a little bit again? You guys kind of heard me talk about that in the other videos. But now that I got this thing back and he fixed all that, it has been a huge, huge upgrade. So it's way smoother, and it was smooth before, but when I say that, I mean like that herky-jerkiness and the way everything feels. It sounds different, it idles different, and the power is just incredible. There's 30 to 50 extra horsepower at certain RPMs with his tune. And man, do you ever feel it? I mean, this thing is just powerful. And it's really fast stock, so I don't think anybody needs to run off and get these things tuned because they want more power, because I mean, it's fine, just stock, but that tune really woke this thing up. He takes all the restrictions, top speed restrictions, all that stuff off on his tune. You could read about it on his website. I'm gonna show you guys a picture of the ECU after he sent it back to me. It has his sticker on it with all his information. The other thing is too, he has a really quick turnaround. I overnighted the ECU to him. He got it by like 10 a.m. the next morning, and then he sent it out the same day at like 2 o'clock, and I got it the next morning. So it's really, you get it back in 2 days. So, I looked at the weather. I was like, oh, it's gonna rain the next few days. So there was really no downtime. So anyways, I highly, highly recommend his tune. Again, he did say that these things come tuned. I'm not gonna say who tuned them. He knows who tuned them. The person who tunes them, I'm not gonna say positive or negative. I would just say that there's a lot left on the table, and that's maybe what Campagna wanted. So I'm going to show you guys some videos of this thing pulling through the gears. I don't really have times because I can't get my draggy to work properly in this thing. And I don't know if my draggy's broken, which I don't think it is because I've used it on my cars, or it just doesn't read right from where I'm putting it in this Rex. But I really have to figure that out so I can give you guys some good times. But as far as picking up power, I would say, on his website, I think he says with his tune, it makes over 200 to the wheels on the ZX14. So, who knows what it would be on this thing? It'd be close to that. But what I would be telling everybody is the smoothness is tenfold. And then also the roll on and power at certain RPMs is huge. You really, really feel it just rolling through the gears. So here's a couple of videos of this thing pulling. And then again, I'll also include a picture of the sticker he puts on his ECU. So if anybody's interested in getting theirs tuned by him, I would highly recommend it. Well, gang, hate to say it, but I do have more bad news. I had reversed this morning, left my house, backed out of my driveway here, did the videos of me doing the 60 to 120 and 60 to 130 pull, came home, stopped on the way home to meet my wife to get some food. When I was leaving the restaurant, my reverse was no longer working. It feels like the lever just isn't engaging. So on this mechanical reverse system, you put it in the first gear, so you'll slap it into first here on the sequential. And then you got this lever here on the side, forward, reverse. You pull that up when it's in first gear, right? And you hold it up, let off the clutch, and then it goes into reverse. And mine is not going into reverse, it just stays in first gear. So I had to push it to get it out of the restaurant, which was a little bit embarrassing. Luckily, this thing really isn't that hard to push, but it's annoying because it's just one more thing that I have to deal with on this thing. I already texted the dealer, he's aware of the problem, so I will update everybody soon. It's pretty frustrating. I'm getting a little tired of dealing with all these issues. When this thing's well sorted though, again, it's great. So anyways, I will keep everybody updated.